It had been a long time since Rei had experienced rest like this, deep, peaceful, and without interruption. 3 months had already passed since his reincarnation into this strange new world. It was a place of fantasy, where monsters roamed freely, danger was constant, and survival was never guaranteed. The people had placed their faith entirely in magic. People lived with a single purpose: to grow stronger. He remembered the endless pressure of his former existence, the countless hours spent saving others at the cost of his own well-being. He remembered the exhaustion that had hollowed him out, and the accident that had taken his life. For the first time in years, he was able to breathe. It was during quiet reflection that Rei first felt it, a subtle current running through his body, thin, cold, and yet refreshing. Mana. At first he struggled with it. The energy scattered whenever he tried to control it by force. But when he imagined it flowing like blood through his veins, when he traced its rhythm patiently, the current began to answer his will. Little by little, he shaped it, until at last, success came, a small spark flickering to life in his hand. It was his first spell, the product of 3 years of effort. Yet even in triumph, Rei's mind refused to rest. The books he read insisted mana should be stored inside the body and released when needed. But to him, this felt inefficient. Why store what could be drawn directly from the world around him? He dared to test his theory, and the results exceeded every expectation. He realized then that he was walking a path no one else dared to attempt. While his family believed he was destined for greatness, Rei devoted himself entirely to study. He read constantly, diving into every text he could find, memorizing the principles of mana and imagining new ways to use it. Days blurred into months, and though he grew stronger, something wasn't right. Rei's family often debated about his future. Some believed he was destined to become a magician, while others thought his physical build made him more suited to the sword. Yet, despite their differing opinions, one thing was certain. Rei spent most of his days surrounded by books. While they were proud of his dedication, quiet concerns began to surface. At his age, most children were outside playing with friends, while Rei remained indoors, studying tirelessly. His parents worried that he might be too invested in books, missing out on the experiences of childhood. Rei himself, however, was deeply focused on his goal. He sought to perfect the pathways of mana within his body. One day, his mother decided it was time for a change. She entered his room and found him, as always, buried in his studies. Proud as she was of his focus, she longed to see him enjoy life beyond the pages of his books. His mother, reflecting on the time she had missed with him, began to wonder if perhaps she hadn't given him enough chances to simply enjoy being a child. With that thought, she made a decision. For once, she would set aside the books and take him outside, hoping to give him a moment of joy beyond study and practice. Rei's mother noticed how his eyes lit up at the thought of spending time with her. She hadn't realized how much it would mean to him, and silently regretted not asking him sooner. For so long, books had been his constant companions, and his dedication to study often made him forget the simple joys of childhood. When she finally took him to the door, Rei hesitated. His instincts told him to return to his books, to continue practicing and studying. Yet deep inside, he knew there was more to life than the pages he read. His mother encouraged him gently, reminding him that there was a whole world waiting beyond the walls of their home. It had been 3 long years since Rei first reincarnated into this world, and in all that time, he had never once stepped outside. He realized then that he had trapped himself in a cage of his own making. As he finally walked outside, In his previous life, Ray had lived within boundaries he could never escape. Duty had chained him. Pressure had suffocated him. But here, he was free. The weight of expectation had fallen away, leaving only the wide horizon and endless possibilities. Liberation filled his chest, and with it a realization. He was glad, truly glad that he had been born again into this world. For the first time, he was not just surviving. He was alive,